Good afternoon, everyone. Um, let's see. Work update is that um, I've worked 3 days total so far, and tomorrow morning I'm going in for training because I didn't do as well as I would like to have done. And I think I know what I did wrong. Um, I listened to the feedback certainly, and I think I know what I did wrong, and I don't think I'm going to make those mistakes again. Hmm. But these things happen. There's a bit of idiosyncratic knowledge and understanding that is necessary for an individual restaurant kitchen, as opposed to maybe a corporate one. Corporate one tends to be more generic in my experience anyways. I've worked in one, two, three, so well, four now. I've worked in four kitchens so far. But the first two, yeah, I know the first three were larger kitchens, and there was a team working in different jobs. So it's different. I've done dishes before. In fact, that's mainly what I did. I did dishes and food prep, and it's the same here. Only I'm doing dishes by hand, so I have to be very careful with them, and um, yeah, we don't want certain mistakes to happen. I have to be careful not to be, you know, I just had to be conscientious. Look where I'm going. Concentrate on what I'm doing. Because it's easy in a kitchen. It's easier than you think to lose your focus because there's sometimes relatively simple tasks like doing basic food prep, cutting up potatoes or onions or what have you. And it's easy to lose focus, let the mind wander. Got to be careful with that. Um, I think I know where almost everything goes. I still have to ask once in a while for something that just I don't know where it goes, and I don't want to just shove it somewhere because that's no good. People won't be able to find it. It's a relatively small kitchen, so that's good, and also it can be a bit crowded with in terms of where things go, which yeah, it is what it is. Good place. They pay well. They treat people fairly. I like that a lot. It has a great reputation in town. It's well deserved. Place is packed usually, or relatively crowded at least. That bodes well. The food is excellent. I've had three meals on my three chefs, and I've been going there for years. So I already knew about this place. It was a local institution. Just wonderful. Love it. And I have for years. And now I get to work there. You know, work's not glamorous. They put that in their Facebook post that I responded to get the job. Work's not glamorous, but it is. It's good. It's good work. It's not. There's no bullshit about it. It's not frivolous or anything like that. Um, yeah, so I'm really glad and grateful to be part of this machine, and people aren't treated like machines there. Unlike a lot of larger corporate places, they're treated as members of a team, and they got to do their job. They show you how to do your job, and it's pretty straightforward. If you don't know, ask, that sort of thing. It's a good mentality, good practice to have. I really like that. So I'm going in for training tomorrow morning so that I can get up to standard. Yeah, because as I said, my work is not yet up to my own standard, or the employer standard, but it's the beginning of a job, so there's a bit of a learning curve, and I think I'm mostly through it. I may be wrong, but I think I am. I think I'm mostly through it, and tomorrow will go well, and Saturday and Sunday will go even better. That's my expectation. Oh, this is Omega. He's a good cat. We've had him for a few months, and me and him have bonded quite a bit. So I think he's basically my cat, and other people are just guests, visitors, and whoever else. Hey, let go, let go, let go. He got excited. Okay, and you get down. Oh my god. Sometimes when he gets excited, he'll he'll start biting. It's not trying to hurt me, but it's like, hey, pay attention to me. Doesn't break the skin or anything. I still don't want him to do that. I know it's how to communicate, but yeah, it's okay. He's a funny one. Hey, no, stay over there. Stay over there. The other thing, global news, I mentioned. I went through several pages in Google News. I couldn't find a news outlet that I particularly trust. I mean, I read the headlines. So I wanted to read about Kursk. Now, this is very clear in international law. If you're at war, you can invade one another's countries. So, and Ukraine is perfectly justified in doing this. I said last year or the year before that if they wanted to invade Russia, they are perfectly within their rights to do so, as long as they conduct themselves in according to the rules of civilized warfare, which Russia does not do, by the way. It's not. I mean, there's obviously going to be war crimes in any large-scale war, but it's very much systematic. They're just brutalizing the population. It's not some one isolated village here and there. It's very, very common. It's the default, as far as I can tell. There's been dozens of incidences of mass civilian casualties where either they were targeted by artillery or they were deliberately executed, both of which are war crimes. But a country that does not follow its own laws is not to be trusted, which I've also said for a long time. This applies to anyone who does not follow their own laws, like Russia. Russia's not the big bad boogeyman we thought it was. This Ukraine invasion has demonstrated that. And now they've left their country pretty much undefended, as far as I can piece together. So they're going to have to redeploy a lot of troops, a lot of equipment, and try to defend their own homeland. And then perhaps there'll be more breakthroughs in the Ukrainian front because, well, Ukraine is very good at exploiting vulnerabilities, which they've done multiple times during this war. And any gains that are made in Ukraine are taking back what is rightfully theirs, without exception. So, and that includes from the beginning of the war, not from its acceleration. So that includes from 2014. when when territory was taken from them in a relatively bloodless conflict. They've been preparing ever since for an invasion. And their preparation has been rewarded. They were able to hold out long enough for reinforcements to arrive, and equipment to arrive. So, and the war is going on ever since. And I'm very glad for that. Russia is a bully. They need to be put in check. I've said that from the very beginning. And they are being put in check. Additionally, I believe that a global effort needs to be done as well for the nonsense that they're doing all over the world using one company or another in Africa, for example. But that's a larger issue. Whew. So, yeah, we might talk more about this. Now, this channel that I have, the Lord Absurd channel, this is more specifically about politics, global events, and other things, I suppose, of an entertainment value. My other channel, Aiden Light, that's more, it's political discussions, um, streams, some gaming, and original content that will come out. Um, yes. So, um, yeah, so that's something to look forward to if you follow that channel. But here I think you'll find that I am more of a, um, I'm a little more. I don't like restricting myself, but I do more of one thing on this channel, more of another thing on the other channel. The difference may be somewhat marginal, but at times, other times it's stronger. Um, so this is where I plan to do political commentary, as I understand it, as I understand things. I'm not going to be quoting specific news outlets because um, news outlets, as I understand them as an American, are not news. Um, they're not worthy of the term, in my opinion. They are entertainment or just a regular propaganda or opinion organization, essentially. Yes. So I'm very unhappy with the quality of American news and even global news, as they call it. Um, NPR is all right, I think, but it's not really where I want it to be. Um, BBC and any of the popular ones, CNN, ABC, CBS, MSNBC, they lean one way or another. I miss the era when it was more common that um, commentators would leave their personal opinions aside and simply report the news on the news hour. And then the rest of the time, it was something else. That's what I want to return to. And in fact, I may do that. my efforts may culminate somewhat in me um, trying to create a situation like that, insofar as I can influence things, for my own channel. I would have news, um, sort of a bit of a summary of what I think are important news items, and then the rest would be entertainment, possibly with other guests. But this is a little farther down the road. But that's what I'm going to do with this channel, with the Lord Absurd channel. Um, and then Aiden Light channel, that will be more. I think the Aiden Light channel will be more of a uh, like formal productions and things like that. This will be more commentary, um, panels, podcasting, that sort of thing. The Aiden Light will be less emphasis on that and more on formal productions and things like that. So the following for both, I don't know. I don't know what exactly the following will be, but right now, Aiden Light has a lot. That channel has a lot more followers. Right now, I think we have 7 here. Um, they're not basically people who enjoy the content on either of them. Either of these channels may enjoy the content on the other. They may have a preference for one or the other. But right now, they're somewhat similar. In time, they will grow apart, hopefully in parallel, but who knows? After all, it is the same person running both, so there's some similarities. I don't really. I don't really specialize. I believe it best in multiple specialties, so that one doesn't become tunnel visioned. I may become a political expert. I may become a culture expert. I may become a psychological expert, for example, or an expert in psychology. To some extent, um, I have a deep familiarity. I have a deep familiarity with some aspects of psychology. So that's something. It's kind of a practical thing. Like sometimes people need to learn such things to avoid getting in trouble, perhaps if they've been in adverse situations over a prolonged period of time. Um, I've been in them. I've been in such situations. I had to really gauge what people were up to. And I've had to not have certain people in my life because of that. So it's it is what it is. You lose people, some people lose you, and that's how life progresses. Good. Uh, what else? The only thing that's really changed in terms of my entertainment, I suppose, is that I have gotten, I purchased Netflix and Paramount Plus because it's got a huge amount of shows, a number of which I like to watch or rewatch. Paramount Plus, it also has a number of shows that I like, including Tulsa King. So I am looking forward to starting that. I've seen clips of it. Really good. Anything with Stallone in it, I'll at least consider. I think he's a fine actor, and he's very intelligent, and um, he brings a great presence to the screen. He has a good amount of charisma, so I like that. Um, yeah, so I have a lot to look forward to this week. Um, yeah, I hope everyone has a really good week, and I will try to give you an update on what's going on. Um, yeah, I'll let you know how the day went tomorrow. I don't know how long the training is going to be. Um, I would like to think it's only going to be a couple of hours, although I'm perfectly willing to work the whole day um, if that's what is called for. I am the type of person who goes over and above if the person in question or people or team or what have you have gained my loyalty, which this place has, by the way. So, at my other job, well, I should say former job, I haven't quit, but well, let's say they haven't fired me, but they've treated me with um, well, I'm not sure, like indifference almost, just contempt maybe, something. They haven't put me on the schedule. So, and then I got a call on Sunday. They left a message that they had put me that I was on the schedule, but guess what? I already checked the schedule 2 weeks ago and I wasn't on it. So I think this is some pretext for firing me. Although there's going to be some people who say that it must have been my fault, and that's okay. There's no use trying to change their minds. I know, I've tried. They have this negative spiral in their life, and they just want to blame people. It's very disappointing. I'm not one of those people who goes around belligerently like, "Oh, well, I'm going to give them a piece of my mind," or wait until they see my real personality. No, not at all. Um, I don't look for fights. I'm not belligerent. I've never been in a fight. At least not. Well, there was with my brothers, but it wasn't. I don't know. I guess it was somewhat real. We restrained ourselves because we're brothers, and whew, yeah, we all survived. Um, none of us. I don't think any of us were sent to the hospital because of a deliberate action by any of the others. So that's something. Four boys too. Yeah, that's something. Um, we get along well now, though. Now that we're adults, I think. And sometimes we butt heads, but it's there's parameters to that. And, we work out our problems, and as they arise, hopefully, and it's good. It's healthy. It's healthy to butt heads a little bit, I think. Um. Oh, nice. Love the fall weather. It got a little nippy the other day when I was out for my walk. Like I was in more or less this and shorts, so a t-shirt and shorts, and it was a little too nippy for my taste. So I had to walk fast and warm up. So I'll be going out with um, long pants and a coat from here on until spring, I suppose. Yeah, maybe boots and maybe a heavy coat depending on what I need. I got a one of those gray puffy coats. Um, it's quite warm. Even on the coldest days, I'm toasty, so I like it. I like it a lot. I got that from Ocean State here in Torrington. They're the place that I go to for things like hoodies, coats, um, and like healthy snacks. So there's a lot of dried fruits. I love that place. I go there. Dried pineapple. Mm, it's incredible. Yeah. And also they're good for some other things too. They have good household equipment as needed. So we go there. Me and my brother go there sometimes. It's usually a smaller shopping trip. We'll get a few things, um, but these things are eaten, so that's good. Then in the same plaza, there's Price Right. That's where I do a good amount of shopping. It's about the I do about as much shopping there as at Aldi. So, and then between the two, um, that's maybe half our grocery shopping, and then the other half is BJ's. That's where we get some of the bulk foods, um, and that ends up being really good for us, and gas as well. That gives us a lot of rewards points, which we every couple of months it's like $20 or $30. So that 2% cash back, it's real. So, and for us, it's very very worth it because we like the products quite a lot. We get them consistently. Um, yeah, so it's a win win for everyone. I think. Then let's see what else. Yeah. Oh yeah, Big Y. I go there once in a while for they have nice Parmesan cheese, which we have about one bag, maybe two per month, and it enhances certain meals quite a lot. Um, that sometimes we get a lunch there as well. They have a pretty good food bar, and then sometimes we get donuts as well. Although, or pastries. Although I don't eat as many as I used to. I'll have one typically, or maybe two, and then with my walk, it probably more than deals with it. But I try not to get to a place where I have strong cravings because a strong craving indicates a deficiency in some area, a nutritional deficiency, and I don't want that. So, I've applied for a few jobs on Indeed. Um, that these jobs would be for like the weekdays, so it would basically fill my week. There's one. I think the day off is Wednesday, and then every other Saturday as well. So I'd have to coordinate between my 2 jobs. The restaurant job, um, they told me, I think on my first day, that, to call 2 hours before if I couldn't make it into work, um, so they could call somebody else. It's a popular restaurant. I'm sure they have no shortage of people who who can come in and help them. So I would definitely do that. And if I were to get that particular job, I would tell them well in advance, and they would make arrangements for someone to cover my shift or to cover the shift rather. Yes. But yeah, that's also part of the agreement, is to let them know if you can't be there, and it's their job also to let you know if they're going to be closed, for example, or something like that. It's a good it's a good respectful thing. Yeah, not every workplace does that, by the way. So it's not like this is just, oh yeah, everyone does this. No, not everyone does this. I remember at a former job, which I won't name, they sometimes neglected multiple times they neglected to mention that they were closed. Um, yeah, so I got a call whilst I was walking to work, um, that they had closed due to a snowstorm, which I was walking through. That was, I was a little peeved. My girlfriend at the time had to beg her family to give to come pick me up. So basically, I called her, and she was a bit upset. I was like, "No, I'm safe. I'm warm. It's good. I'm by such and such restaurant or wherever." And then I just waited there for them to pick me up. So that was an adventure. But yeah, um, you can't take these things for granted. You got to find a good place that allows for that treats you with courtesy. Um, yes, and I think I found such a place. So really happy about that. Um, yeah, it's basically if I find an organization or a group or a person who really has my back, I'll have their back too. Yeah. So that's the way I'm wired. However, I don't give loyalty simply because people expect it or demand it. Um, just like I don't do as people say just because they expect or demand it. People have come up against that before. They seem very puzzled or very upset because I won't do as they say, but I simply won't, and there's nothing they can do to make me. They've tried, but they've always failed. At best, they'll give a half-hearted effort, but I don't even do that anymore. I simply won't do it. If I don't think I should be doing it, I won't do it, and that's that. A lot of people, I think, they're used to they're accustomed to being in situations where they can't make a stand, and I myself am not in such a situation. For example, at work, at my new job, that is, there's been times when people were um, getting a bit upset because I wasn't doing the job the way they wanted me to do it. And it's upsetting to when people are upset with me, but that doesn't mean they're wrong. Not at all. I think they were right, in fact. And I strive to learn from um, and be corrected and be teachable. So that's good. It's important. It's an important distinction to make because just because someone's upset doesn't mean the other person's wrong. I think some um, I think some people of all ages need to learn that because that's part of maturity. It doesn't mean that you're not upset. We're humans. When emotions are involved, there's going to be some overlap and some. Um, you might get upset, but as I said, that does not mean the other person's wrong. It means you can learn something from this, quite possibly, and it's an experience to get through. Um, Not necessarily just yeah, it's an experience to get through. It's not to be avoided. And that's a mistake some people make. They try to avoid things or they just yeah someone and they don't learn anything. No, that's a very bad idea. I'm acutely aware of that, by the way, that quality of attention where people pretend to listen to what you're saying, but they don't. They're not listening to what you're saying. It's like, okay, if you were listening to what I said, you wouldn't have done this. Because I gave you, I told you, the directions, but you weren't listening to me, and now we're going to be late. For example, that could be an example of what is going on, what might go on. So, moment. So, yeah, I wish the Ukrainian forces good luck. Um, and I wish the Russian people and Ukrainian people to heal and to, especially in the Russians' case, to require better of their government. Both of them need to work on their corruption urgently. Russia more so than Ukraine, but Ukraine is still not anywhere near where it needs to be. They made improvements, and I congratulate them for that. But they need to be a lot more. They need to do a lot more with straightening out their government, removing people who need to be removed from office, from their administrative positions, wherever they are, and replacing them with good people who don't participate in dirty politics and taking bribes and that sort of thing. That is for Russians at this time, and Russia, honestly, they need to do a lot better. They're not at they're not even at the minimum of civilized warfare. So to say they need to do better is an understatement. However, um, uh, being Russophobic, that does not mean that one does not criticize one's government or a foreign government. I very much like the Russian culture, as far as I can tell, and the Ukrainian culture as well, as far as I can tell. Um, but both governments have some things that need to be corrected, and I think that's partly why this war happened. Because if a country is essentially dysfunctional, they have they're either going to self-destruct, partition themselves, or they have to invade, and that's what Nazi Germany did, and that's what Russia has done, and I'm sure there's many other incidences throughout history of this sort of thing happening. All right, I'm going to end the stream now, um, and I will be back with an update hopefully in the next couple of days. Also, I'll update on the Aiden Light channel, but yeah, we'll see.